Hello students, today we are going to study about the projectile motion. Projectile motion. So what is projectile motion? As you can see here, when a particle is thrown obliquely near the earth's surface, it moves along a curved path, right? So when a particle is thrown obliquely means the initial velocity is with certain angle with the horizontal, that is horizontal x-axis. So that particle will follow certain curved path. Then that particle is said to be projectile. That particle is called projectile and its motion is called projectile motion. So this is the quite clear definition of the projectile motion, right? So now initial consideration for the analysis of projectile motion. First point is point of projection. Point of projection from where that projectile is projected, right? So here we are taking xy axis as a reference axis and origin is at initial point O. So this point is called as point of projection from where the projectile is projected. Now velocity of projection. The velocity of the particle by which the particle is projected, that is called the velocity of projection u, right? Then next one, angle of projection. The angle made by the velocity component with the horizontal axis is called as angle of projection and represented by theta. So now if the particle is projected from here, this will follow certain curved path. You can see here something like this, and here you can see at certain point the particle is at peak point. Now terms related to projectile motion, we'll talk about terms related to the projectile motion. Terms related to the projectile motion. So first term will be maximum height. This height you can see here, maximum height h max, right? So first term will be maximum height. This is what the maximum height attained by the projectile, represented by h max. Second term will be the horizontal range, that is r covered by the particle. So what is this? Horizontal range, represented by capital R. Now the third term is the time taken by the particle from O to this particular point. Let us say O, this point is A, this point is B. So motion from O to B is what? The range. This is range, and time taken by the particle for the motion from O to B, that is called time of flight. That is called time of flight, TF, right? So these are the terms, three terms. Next, what we'll do? We'll derive the equation for this path, and that equation is called as equation of trajectory. That equation is called as equation of trajectory, right? Now, what will be our next target? To calculate all these parameters, all these terms, right? So, calculation for Hmax, R and TF, that is time of flight. Time of flight. So, to calculate these values, we will have certain prior knowledge, right? So, what is that prior knowledge? We should know about the equations of motion in vector form. That I am going to write here. Equations of motion in vector form. Why we are using these equations in vector form? Because this is a plane motion. This is a plane motion. So there will be two components of this velocity. This is u cos theta and the vertical component is u sin theta. Right? So there are two directions and direction is continuously changing. So we'll have to take all these quantities in vector format, right? So here gravity is acting in downward direction, so firstly we'll write the initial speed in vector form. So here equations of motion, that will be something like this: vector v equal to vector u plus vector a into t, right? This is first equation of motion in vector form, and second equation of motion, vector f equal to vector u into t, that's a scalar quantity, plus half vector a t square, right? And third equation of motion, that is in scalar form v square equal to u square plus 2as, but in vector form vector v dot vector v equal to vector u dot vector u plus 2 vector a dot vector s, right? So these are three equations of motion in vector form, right? So these equations we are going to use in the calculation of these parameters Hmax, R and TF, right? So how we'll do these calculations, let us see. So firstly we'll write the parameters which are initially considered, right? So initial velocity of the particle I am taking here, that is u vector, and that is equal to this is the complete velocity vector. This is the complete velocity vector which can be written in the form of its component, right? So u vector is equal to u cos theta I cap, right? Means x component of this initial velocity vector, and u sin theta j cap, that is y component, right? Now acceleration vector, which is constant acceleration acting throughout the motion, that will be 0 I cap, because there is no acceleration component in x direction. Now this g value is acting vertically downward direction, right? So that will be taken as negative, right? So minus g j cap, that is the acceleration due to gravity. So net acceleration we have written here, right? So initial speed. Now we'll have to calculate the speed of particle at any general time. Let us consider t equal to t. So what we'll do, we'll use the equation of motion to calculate this velocity vector at any general time t equal to t. So to calculate this value will use first equation of motion in vector form, which I have previously written here, that is vector v equal to vector u plus vector a into t, right? So we can write this velocity vector here like u equal to u cos theta I cap plus u sin theta j cap, this is u, plus at. So I component is 0, so there will be only minus g and multiplied by this t, that will be equal to minus gt into j cap, right? So these two terms have j cap, right? So we can take j cap common and we can write like this: u cos theta I cap plus u sin theta minus gt j cap. So this is what the velocity vector at any journal time t. Now just look at this velocity vector. This x component of this velocity vector is independent of time. That means this value is not changing with the time. Why this value is not changing with the time? Why velocity is not changing in x direction? Because there is no acceleration in x direction, right? Because there is no acceleration in x direction, that's why velocity is constant throughout the motion in x direction. But y component has this t term, that means this y component is continuously changing with the time, Why? Because the acceleration due to gravity is acting in y direction, right? So the velocity component, y velocity component is variable with the time and x velocity component is constant throughout the motion. Now we'll have to calculate the maximum height. So to calculate the maximum height, what we'll do? We'll take some conditions at this point. We'll take some condition at this particular point, h max. So as we can see, at this point the velocity of particle will be something like this, which is directly in the direction of x-axis, that means y component of the velocity is 0. That is, y component of the velocity is 0, right? So the condition we can take to calculate the h max, that is what? At maximum point, the vertical component of velocity is 0. So we can apply this condition over here, right? So h max, what we'll do? We'll take at h max Vy is equal to 0, right? Vy is equal to 0. So we know the value of Vy, that is given in this equation. So Vy, y component of velocity, that is u sin theta minus gt. That is equal to 0. So from here we can find the time at which the particle is at maximum height, right? So t equal to u sin theta by g. And this is not ordinary time. This is the time at which the particle is at maximum height, and this time is called as time of ascent. Time of ascent means the particle is reaching the height in this particular time span, right? So this is called as time of ascent or ascending time, ascending time means time in which the particle is ascending, right? So ascending time we have got. Now we have to calculate the maximum height. What is maximum height actually? The displacement in y direction. So which equation we can use for the displacement in y direction? Second equation of motion we can use, that is what? S vector equal to u vector into t plus half a vector into t square, right? So if we'll be putting this time, means the particle will be here only, so the y displacement, that will be equal to the h max. So here we are taking the displacement in y direction only. So what will take? Here will take the initial velocity component in y direction, right? So we can write like something like this, that is Fy, means displacement component in y direction. Fy equal to uy into t. What will be t? This is also represented by ta, ascending time. So ta will put here plus half, what is a in y direction, means y component of acceleration will take, and ta square. So we can put what will be Fy for this time, that will be h max, that will be h max, and uy equal to u sin theta, and what is ta? U sin theta by g, right? U sin theta by g plus half y component of acceleration, that I have written there, that is minus g, and t square, that means u square sin square theta divided by g square. So g will be cancelled out, one g will be remaining here, right? So after solving this equation, we can get u square sin square by g, u square sin square theta divided by 2g. After solution we can get this h max. So this is what the formula for maximum height. We have got here the formula for the maximum height reached by the projectile, right? Okay. So now we'll have the calculation of this r, that is horizontal range reached by the particle, right? So for the calculation of horizontal range, what we'll do, let us see. Okay. So for the calculation of this r, again we'll take certain condition. What will be the condition? In this particular time, in this much time, the particle is at the position r, right? So what will be this time? The time of flight. So how will calculate time of flight? The time taken by the particle when particle reaches to its initial position in vertical direction. Here vertical component of displacement will be 0. Here will be certain value, increasing, then decreasing, then finally 0. So what will be the condition for calculation of this r? For calculation of this r, the condition will be the net y displacement, means the net displacement in y direction, that should be 0. So firstly we'll write the equation for displacement in y direction. For displacement in y direction, that is Sy equal to uyt plus half a by t square, right? Half a by t square, right? So net displacement in y direction is 0. Uy equal to u sin theta. What will be t? T will be the total time of flight, that is represented by Tf, right? That is represented by Tf plus half Ay is minus g and Tf t square. So from here we can get the Tf value. This is the quadratic equation. So TF we are taking common here. This will become u sin theta minus g by 2 into TF, right, equal to 0. So from this equation we can get the root. So one value, first value is TF equal to 0, and in second this one equal to 0. So if TF equal to 0, displacement is 0, that is initial point. We don't have to consider this value 0. We have to consider this point. So if this value is 0, TF we can get from here, TF equal to 2u sin theta divided by g. And this time is what? The time of, this time is what? The time of flight. Time of flight. And from previous formula you can easily see that this TF is equal to the 2 times of TA, means time of flight is equal to the 2 times of ascending time. So this relation you can frequently use for the solving of the questions, right? And what is descending time? We can calculate from here. What is descending time? When particle is coming from maximum height to ground level, that is what the descending time. So this total time is known. What is this? Time of flight, and this time is known, time of ascent. So what will be TD? Descending time, that will be total time minus this time, that will be equal to descending time. So TD we can write, that is equal to TF, time of flight, minus TA, ascending time. So as we can see, TF equal to 2 times of TA, right? So 2TA if we will put, from here we can get TD equal to TA, that is equal to u sin theta divided by 2g. So what is this? Descending time. Descending time, right? So we'll have calculations for time of flight, ascending time, descending time, and the maximum height. Now if we have this much time, we can calculate the range, how this time is known. So from here we can calculate the displacement in horizontal direction, displacement in x direction, and that will be the range, right? So note it down. Okay. So what we'll do? We'll apply the equation of displacement for x direction. Sx equal to uh into t, and what will be t? The time of flight, right? Plus half ax into t square, right? So from here you can write Sx equal to r. What is u cos theta? What is TF, time of flight, as we have calculated, u sin theta divided by g, plus half. What is the acceleration component in x direction? Previously I have written there the total acceleration component. From there you can see that ax is 0. That means x component of acceleration is 0, right? So this total term will become 0, right? So from here you can get u square and u square sin theta into cos theta divided by g, u square sin theta cos theta divided by g. This will be u sin theta divided by g, right? So from here the time of flight will be equal to 2u sin theta divided by g. So from here 2 sin theta into cos theta, and this is a trigonometric relation. You can write it like sin 2 theta divided by g. So this is what the formula for horizontal range. This is the formula for horizontal range, right? So we have derived all these three formulas. We have derived all these three formulae. Now we can just write here all these three formulas. Hmax that is equal to u square sine square theta divided by 2g. This is first formula. Second formula, R equal to u square sine 2 theta divided by g. And third formula, that is time of flight is equal to 2u sine theta divided by g. Right? Now TA and TD, sometimes we write it with small tf, sometimes with capital TF, whatever you can take. Right? So TA ascending time is equal to TD descending time, that is equal to time of flight divided by 2. So this is fourth relation. Okay. So hopefully this projectile motion will be clear to all of you. Thank you.